What if the next person who betrays you already gave you every warning sign? And what if you simply didn't know how to read it? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover how people reveal their true character long before they betray your trust, and how to recognize the signs before it's too late. Before we begin, answer this honestly in the comments. Have you ever trusted someone too quickly and regretted it later? Type yes if you've experienced it. Most people don't hide who they are. They hide who they are behind words. They know exactly what you want to hear. They promise loyalty. They speak with confidence. They flatter you. They agree with your opinions. They make you feel understood. But words are the easiest investment anyone can make. Character is expensive. The greatest mistake people make is trusting conversations instead of observing behavior. Anyone can tell you they're honest. Very few can consistently prove it. Real character appears in ordinary moments. Watch how someone treats people they don't need. Observe how they speak to a waiter. Notice how they respond to criticism. Pay attention to what they do when nobody important is watching. These moments cannot be rehearsed. They expose habits, and habits reveal identity. Here's another truth. Everyone has motives. Some seek admiration, some seek power, some seek comfort, some seek opportunity. There is nothing wrong with having motives. The danger begins when you ignore them. Instead of asking, do I like this person? Ask, what does this person truly want? Because desire quietly controls behavior. A person will always protect what they value most. Learn what that is, and you'll understand many of their future decisions. If this message is helping you see people differently, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people develop stronger judgment, and you'll never miss future lessons like this. One conversation tells you almost nothing. Time tells you everything. Many people can pretend for a day. Some can pretend for a month. Very few can pretend forever. That's why patience is one of the greatest forms of intelligence. Never rush trust. Watch for consistency. Does this person keep their promises? Do their actions match their words? Do they accept responsibility for mistakes? Or do they always blame someone else? Pressure reveals what comfort conceals. When life becomes difficult, people stop performing, their real personality appears. Notice how someone reacts when they don't get what they want. Do they become angry, manipulative, disrespectful, or do they remain calm and accountable? Emotional discipline is one of the clearest signs of maturity. Someone who cannot control themselves during small disappointments may become unpredictable during major challenges. Trust should never be based on charm. Charm attracts, character sustains. The wisest people do not become suspicious of everyone. They simply become patient observers. They allow time to test people instead of emotions making the decision. Remember this. You don't need extraordinary intelligence to read people. You need attention, attention to patterns, attention to consistency, attention to how someone behaves when there is nothing to gain. The greatest protection against betrayal isn't becoming cold, it's becoming observant. When you learn to read actions instead of promises, patterns instead of excuses, and consistency instead of appearances, you stop trusting too quickly. And you start trusting wisely, because the strongest decisions are not made with hopeful emotions. They are made with clear observation. If this message changed the way you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And always remember, people reveal who they are every single day. The question is not whether they are showing you, it's whether you are paying attention. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing what they hear instead of paying attention to what they consistently see. Words are powerful because they create emotions, build hope, and inspire confidence. Anyone can promise honesty, loyalty, or commitment when it costs them nothing. In fact, many people genuinely believe the promises they make in the moment. However, real character is not measured by intentions or persuasive conversations. It is measured by actions repeated over time. This is why observing behavior is far more reliable than trusting impressive words. Imagine meeting someone who speaks with confidence, compliments you often, and tells you exactly what you want to hear. They claim they value honesty, respect, and loyalty. Their words may sound convincing, but those statements alone reveal very little about who they truly are. Now imagine watching how they behave over the next several weeks. Do they keep their promises? Do they arrive when they say they will? Do they admit their mistakes, or do they constantly blame others? Do they remain respectful when they have nothing to gain? These everyday actions provide far more accurate information than any speech they could give about their character. People often reveal their priorities without realizing it. Someone who repeatedly breaks small commitments will likely struggle with larger ones as well. A person who frequently changes their story, avoids responsibility, or treats honesty as optional is showing you a consistent pattern. Ignoring these behaviors because their words sound reassuring can lead to disappointment later. Character is built through habits, not through isolated promises or emotional conversations. Learning to observe actions also protects you from manipulation. Some individuals understand exactly how to create a positive impression through charm, compliments, or confident language. While these qualities are not necessarily dishonest, they should never become the sole reason for your trust. Instead, allow time to test whether their behavior matches their claims. Consistency creates credibility, while repeated inconsistency weakens it. When words and actions consistently align, trust naturally becomes stronger because it is supported by evidence rather than hope. By training yourself to judge people through what they repeatedly do instead of what they repeatedly say, you make wiser decisions, build healthier relationships, and greatly reduce the chances of placing your trust in the wrong person. One of the quickest ways to understand a person's true character is to observe how they treat people who have nothing to offer them. Many individuals behave with exceptional kindness toward those who hold power, wealth, or influence because they hope to gain something in return. They become polite with managers, respectful toward successful people, and generous with those they admire. While this behavior may appear impressive, it does not necessarily reflect genuine character. Real character is revealed in moments where there is no reward for being respectful and no consequence for being rude. These ordinary interactions often expose values that carefully chosen words cannot hide. Pay attention to how someone speaks to a waiter in a restaurant, a cashier at a store, a cleaner in an office, or a stranger asking for directions. Notice whether they show patience, courtesy, and basic human respect, or whether they become impatient, dismissive, or arrogant. These people cannot significantly influence that person's success or social status, so the behavior displayed toward them is often more authentic. Someone who is respectful only when it benefits them is not demonstrating kindness. They are demonstrating strategy. The same principle applies in everyday relationships. Observe how someone talks about former friends, family members, or coworkers when those people are not present. Do they constantly criticize others, spread gossip, or mock those who cannot defend themselves? If they casually disrespect people behind their backs, there is a strong possibility they will eventually speak the same way about you. Patterns of disrespect rarely remain limited to one group of people. They usually reflect a deeper habit of character. Respect is most meaningful when it is given freely rather than exchanged for personal gain. A person who consistently treats everyone with dignity, regardless of status or usefulness, demonstrates emotional maturity and integrity. Their behavior remains stable because it is guided by principles instead of convenience. Watching these small interactions provides valuable insight into how they are likely to treat you once the excitement of a new relationship fades or when they no longer need something from you. The way someone treats those with less power is not a minor detail. It is one of the clearest reflections of the values, humility, and respect that shape their true character every single day. Every person is driven by motives, whether they openly admit them or not. These motives shape the choices they make, the relationships they build, and the way they interact with others. Some people are motivated by success, some by security, some by recognition, and others by power or personal gain. Having motives is not inherently wrong because every human being has needs, ambitions, and desires. The problem begins when you ignore these hidden motivations and judge people only by their words or outward behavior. Understanding what truly drives someone gives you a clearer picture of how they are likely to act when important decisions arise. People rarely announce their real intentions directly. Instead, they reveal them through patterns. Pay attention to what they consistently talk about, what excites them, what they complain about, and where they invest most of their time and energy. A person who constantly seeks admiration may make decisions that protect their image above everything else. Someone driven by financial success may prioritize opportunities even if it means changing loyalties. Another person may value comfort so highly that they avoid difficult responsibilities whenever possible. These repeated behaviors quietly expose the priorities that influence their choices. It is also important to notice whether someone's actions change depending on who they are with. If they become overly friendly only around influential people, generous only when others are watching, or supportive only when they benefit from the situation, their behavior may be guided more by self-interest than by genuine character. This does not automatically make them dishonest, but it helps you understand what motivates their decisions. People tend to protect what matters most to them, and recognizing that priority allows you to predict many of their future actions. Learning to identify hidden motives does not mean becoming suspicious of everyone. Instead, it encourages careful observation before placing complete trust in someone. Rather than asking whether a person seems nice, ask yourself what they are hoping to gain from the relationship and whether their interests align with yours. When motives are healthy and supported by honesty, trust can grow naturally. When motives repeatedly conflict with their words, caution becomes necessary. The more clearly you understand what truly drives people, the less likely you are to be surprised by their decisions, because their actions will begin to make sense long before they openly reveal their intentions. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing they can fully understand someone's character after only a few conversations or a handful of positive experiences. First impressions can be pleasant, and many people naturally present their best qualities when meeting someone new. They are polite, attentive, generous, and eager to create a favorable image. While there is nothing wrong with making a good first impression, it does not provide enough evidence to determine whether a person is trustworthy. True character is not revealed in moments of comfort and excitement. It is revealed through consistent behavior over time. Time has a unique ability to remove masks. Maintaining a false image requires continuous effort, and very few people can do it indefinitely. As weeks and months pass, habits begin to replace performances. The person who claimed to value honesty either continues telling the truth or begins making excuses. The individual who promised reliability either keeps their commitments or repeatedly breaks them. These repeated actions gradually reveal patterns that no speech or promise can hide. Consistency is far more meaningful than isolated acts of kindness because it reflects genuine character rather than temporary enthusiasm. Difficult situations also play an important role in revealing who someone truly is. Anyone can appear patient, respectful, and supportive when life is going well. The real test comes when they face disappointment, criticism, stress, or failure. Observe how they respond when things do not go according to plan. Do they remain calm and accountable, or do they become defensive, dishonest, or disrespectful? Pressure often exposes qualities that remain hidden during easier moments. It reveals whether a person's values remain stable when challenged or disappear when they become inconvenient. Patience is therefore one of the most valuable tools in building trust. Instead of rushing to label someone as completely trustworthy, allow time to confirm whether their actions consistently match their words. Watch how they treat others over long periods, how they handle responsibility, and whether their behavior remains steady across different situations. Trust that grows slowly is usually stronger because it is supported by evidence rather than emotion. Time does not create character, but it reveals it with remarkable clarity. Those who are willing to observe patiently often avoid unnecessary disappointment because they allow reality, rather than hope, to guide their judgment. One of the clearest signs of a trustworthy person is their ability to manage their emotions, especially during moments of pressure, disappointment, or conflict. Emotions are a natural part of being human, and everyone experiences anger, fear, frustration, and excitement. The difference lies in how people respond to those emotions. A person with strong emotional control does not allow temporary feelings to dictate permanent decisions. They pause before reacting, think before speaking, and remain aware of how their actions affect others. This ability creates stability, making them more reliable in both personal and professional relationships. Observe how someone behaves when things do not go their way. It is easy to appear calm and pleasant when life is comfortable and everything is working in their favor. The real test begins when they are criticized, corrected, rejected, or faced with unexpected problems. Some people immediately become defensive, lose their temper, or blame others for every difficulty. Others remain composed, accept responsibility where necessary, and focus on solving the problem instead of creating more conflict. These reactions reveal far more about a person's character than the way they behave during peaceful moments. Emotional control is also reflected in everyday conversations. Notice whether someone constantly interrupts others, reacts aggressively to minor disagreements, or allows small frustrations to turn into unnecessary arguments. Pay attention to whether they can respectfully listen to opinions different from their own without becoming hostile. A person who cannot manage simple disagreements may struggle even more when facing major challenges. Their decisions become unpredictable because they are driven by impulse instead of thoughtful judgment. Trust requires consistency, and consistency is difficult to maintain when emotions constantly take control. Someone who frequently changes their attitude based on their mood can leave others feeling uncertain and insecure. One day they may be supportive and encouraging, while the next they become distant or disrespectful over a minor inconvenience. This unpredictability makes it difficult to build lasting confidence in the relationship. In contrast, emotionally disciplined people create a sense of safety because their responses are measured rather than impulsive. They understand that strong emotions deserve attention, but not immediate obedience. Their calmness under pressure reflects maturity, self-awareness, and responsibility, qualities that make them far more dependable when trust, cooperation, and important decisions are involved. Trust is one of the most valuable things you can give another person, yet many people hand it over far too quickly. A warm smile, a few kind words, or a shared interest can create the illusion of deep connection, leading people to believe they already know someone's character. However, genuine trust should never be built on first impressions or emotional excitement alone. It should develop gradually through repeated experiences that consistently demonstrate honesty, reliability, and integrity. Trusting slowly does not mean becoming fearful or suspicious of everyone. It means allowing time and evidence to confirm whether someone truly deserves a place in your life. When trust is earned in stages, you protect yourself from making decisions based solely on emotions. Instead of sharing every personal detail or relying heavily on someone you have just met, you observe how they handle smaller responsibilities first. Do they keep simple promises? Do they arrive on time? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they remain honest even when telling the truth is uncomfortable? These seemingly ordinary moments provide important clues about how they are likely to behave when greater responsibilities or more difficult situations arise. Verification is not about testing people with traps or expecting perfection. It is about paying close attention to whether their actions consistently support their words. A trustworthy person does not prove themselves through one impressive gesture, but through a long pattern of dependable behavior. They accept responsibility for mistakes, remain truthful even when honesty carries a cost, and follow through on commitments without constant reminders. These repeated actions create confidence because they show that reliability is part of their character rather than a temporary performance. Many disappointments occur because people confuse potential with proof. They see who someone could become instead of who they repeatedly show themselves to be. By verifying through observation, you reduce the influence of hope and increase the influence of reality. This approach allows trust to grow naturally instead of being forced by emotion or urgency. The strongest relationships are rarely built overnight. They are built through patience, shared experiences, and consistent evidence that both people deserve each other's confidence. Trust that is earned step by step becomes far more resilient because it rests on proven character rather than assumptions, making it capable of surviving challenges that often destroy relationships built on quick emotional decisions.